Welcome to the Exec Exchange, a 15-minute podcast in which a leader from the water sector shares a story to inspire, inform, and educate other water sector leaders from around the globe. My name is Piers Clark, and today my guest is Khalid Shaikh, Chief Executive of the Sindh People's Housing for Flood Affectees in Pakistan. Khalid, it is wonderful to connect with you today.
Thank you. I'm also thrilled to talk to you about Pakistan and about water initiative which we are going to take.
Brilliant. We always like to start by learning about our interviewee. Can you give me a bit of your background? What did you do before you were chief executive of the SPHF?
I was working as secretary in the government of Sindh. I was secretary implementation and coordination when flood hit major parts of Sindh in 2022. So I left that job and I came to work as CEO of the newly established company's SPHF, which is Sindh People's Housing for Flood Affectees. And the purpose was to reconstruct 2.1 million houses for the people whose houses were damaged during that flood.
So you've been a public servant for many years, working to serve the good people of Sindh. Now let's talk about where is Sindh in the world? Where is it within Pakistan and how many people do you serve?
Sindh is a province of Pakistan and its total population is about 60 million. Karachi is the capital of Sindh and it is the biggest city in Pakistan.
And Karachi is the city that I suspect people listening to this will be able to go, oh, I know where Karachi is. Now, let's talk about the flooding issues that you've experienced in Sindh. Give me some of the sense of the history. What's the scale of the challenge that you're dealing with?
In the year 2022, catastrophic rains happened in Sindh, and it was a catastrophic event which we have not seen since ages. Around 2.1 million houses were damaged, and around 15 million people became homeless in one day, and they were on the roads. They had no shelter, they had no food, and they had no water to drink. So the government took up this challenge and started rescue operations. And after 2 weeks' time, we started to think what to do. And the chairman of the Pakistan People's Party, which is a big political party in Pakistan, chairman Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, got the idea and he started talking about reconstructing 2.1 million houses for the poor people. Most of them were very, very poor. Around 31% people earn less than $1 a day, and around 69% earned less than $2 a day. So they were poor and ultra poor in all respects. They had no capacity and they live in mud houses. They did not have resilient houses. So the idea of the political government was to reconstruct houses so that they don't get these type of shocks every year, because rains happen every year and some part of their houses gets damaged. But it was so catastrophic that the mass scale damages of the houses occurred. So far, we have put 1.2 million houses under construction and around 600,000 houses have been completed. Every month, we are completing 50,000 to 60,000 houses.
That is an incredible statement you've just shared there. And I deliberately didn't want to interrupt because you were giving such a glorious overview. But let me just claw back and pick out some of those key facts. So in 2022, in one day, 15 million people, about 25% of the population in Sindh lost their homes. They lost their water supply. They lost their sanitation. They lost everything. And that exactly is what stimulated the government to undertake this incredible program of building homes. Of course, it's not just the homes, because you've got to build the infrastructure to support those homes. You've got to build the water and wastewater connections. Now, you've managed to get enough momentum going that you are now completing between 50 and 60,000 homes every month. Did I hear that right?
Yes, exactly. This model is beneficiary driven model. There is no contractor in it.
Can you share more on how have you mobilized to be able to complete 50,000 homes a month?
We select the beneficiaries through a complete set of investigations. We get their bank accounts opened and we train them how to reconstruct their own houses. In this whole initiative, we have trained more than 20,000 people. So what happens is the beneficiary receives a phone call from bank that their first installment has arrived. Most of them, primarily women, then go to the bank, often for the very first time. About 99% of these families had never entered a bank before. As they are so poor, they never had a bank account. Inside the bank, they get their biometrics done and learn about the banking system. Then they receive their first installment of 75,000 rupees, which they use to purchase construction materials by themselves. Our NGOs, which we have hired to support them, their engineer and social mobilizer are there in each village. They train them how to reconstruct their house and they do the construction of the foundation first. Then we send second installment after verifications through an online verification system. And then they get the second installments. So it's performance-based installments. Once these 4 installments are done, they get their beautiful house done.
It is incredible, Khalid. You mobilized an army of people who were motivated to build their own homes. And actually, the bit you did was provide them with the financing, provide them with the NGOs who could give them the support and the training to be able to do it. You also commented that most of the people applying were women. Did I catch that correctly?
Yes, exactly. Our idea is to empower women. We are doing around 2.1 million houses and
50% of these people live on the state land.
they are scattered over 30 to 35,000 villages. So what is new which we are doing right away is that we are giving land title to women only. And that is another sort of empowerment because women first learned how to open their bank accounts. Now they are owner of their own house. And this is very fantastic to see that women are getting empowered through different mechanisms. What we have done, Piers, is that in every village we have formed a village reconstruction committee, which is constituted by 50% female and 50% male. So they make the decisions about their villages and they are our target contacts and they help each other.
There are so many good stories about the community environment that they make the houses of the people who are not able to construct their own houses. For example, there was a pair where one was physically impaired and the lady was blind. So the community constructed their house.
It warms your heart just to hear it, doesn't it? It's wonderful. Now, tell me about the sanitation and water supply. I assume these houses are not connected to any water pipes, so people are still gathering their water from local wells and streams, and the sanitation is with septic tanks or drop toilets. Is that correct?
Even before the flood, the biggest challenge is that the use of open defecation is quite high. So again, the chairman of the Pakistan People's Party, whose government is also ruling Sindh, had the vision that first we had to reconstruct houses. And now his focus is to provide wash facilities for all these 15 million people.
So I think it's going to be another $3 billion project.
And just to be clear for our audience who aren't familiar, when Khalid refers to wash facilities, he's meaning water and sanitation and hygiene facilities, wash, in that context to address the open defecation challenge. And I think what you said is absolutely right. The first step needs to be giving people shelter over their heads. And then you can build upon that by providing the sanitation services, which will help address the open defecation practices that have been prevalent previously. You also mentioned a budget. Can you tell me more about how much do you think addressing the open defecation and the wash facilities would cost?
For housing, we needed $2 billion. And we got the financing from the World Bank, from the Asian Development Bank, from the Islamic Development Bank, and from the European Investment Bank.
And also we got donations from UNIDO and other UN agencies.
Our other target is around $2.5 to $3 billion for WASH.
The world is quite cooperative. The World Bank has shown their willingness. We have gathered some $200 million already.
And another $400 million from the Asian Development Bank program. So we expect that $1 billion target will be completed in this year. And in subsequent years, we will be able to get $2 billion.
We have decided as a policy in government of Sindh that no untreated water will go to any flowing body and every treatment shall be done so that the hygiene is there. This is a grand project, and like housing, we are quite confident that we will do it in next 3 to 4 years' time.
If I was sitting inside one of those IFIs, as international finance institutions, the World Bank, the Islamic banks, I'd be looking at you and going, you've proven you can do this. You've proven you can mobilize the resources and get the capital to work, delivering real value to significant populations of really underserved people. It's incredible what you have achieved, Khalid. I'm in awe of how you've been able to mobilize the political will and convert that political will into real action on the ground that is transforming millions of people's lives. Now, I would like to finish with just the question of, if you could go back 20 years, what advice would you give a young Khalid, bearing in mind all the things you now know?
I have four things in mind because I had 30 years of experience working with the public sector. Number one, whether you are in private sector or public sector, think big, because if you don't think big, you won't be able to do big things.
And then gather all the best resource. I always work with the best consultants in the world. So the chances of failure is not there. Select your team best on merit, get the best person for the job and have clear vision. Whatever you dream, have a clear vision how to fulfill that dream.
And now we are very confident that whatever way we will do this job of WASH in the next 3 years' time, we will get the funding.
Last thing, how did we get this funding possible? We hired 4 auditors in our project. Never ever in the private sector or even public sector, 4 big audit firms are at a time in one project. But I brought them in this project to ensure transparency and accountability.
Wonderful. Think big, work with the best, have a clear vision. Don't let people work in tribes, bring together competitors to deliver the vision. You have been listening to the Exec Exchange with me, Piers Clark, and my guest today has been Khalid Shaikh, the Chief Executive of the Sindh People's Housing for Flood Affectees, the SPHF in Pakistan. I hope you can join me next time. Thank you.